Lately, the Me Too movement has been making its way through the Taiwanese entertainment scene. I'm not too familiar with most of the people involved, hence didn't pay all that much attention to it, until Daya's post on the 27th of June accusing Chen Chien-Chou of sexually harassing her 11 years ago during a work trip in Hong Kong. The post detailed how Chen made attempts to get her hotel room number, and after succeeding, made attempts to have sexual intercourse with her. The only thing that prevented him from getting his way was Daya's continuous adamant refusals, and the pending loom of her friends was soon to arrive at her hotel room. As a kid, I loved watching the show that Chen hosted at the time, Why Hey So Hui. I can't say that I know all of the girls that were part of the show, but Daya, I definitely do know. So, can you imagine the shock when I heard of this news? Well, the shock comes in two factors. First, for some reason, I always thought he was gay, and his marriage to his wife was all a facade to hide this. And two, do you know how many girls were part of the show in its 4-year run? A lot. And you know what the scary thing is? The girls were all aged between 14 and 20, so young and vulnerable. Now, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that maybe there were other victims. I mean, after all, he's someone that has power over them. His words can and will decide whether they get a spot on the show. As in Daya's post, she recounted of a time when she was removed from the show because of him. And mind you, she was one of the more popular members, and he can decide her fate. So imagine what it would be like for the younger, newer, less popular girls. Now, Chen was quick to come out with a response to the allegation. His response was, alongside his wife, file a civil lawsuit against Daya for defamation and demands a compensation of 10 million Taiwan dollars and a public apology on Facebook. To his surprise, netizens didn't take too well to his response. Instead, he only added fuel to the fire and drew even more support towards Daya. And in the wake of his apology, another victim stepped out to recount her encounters with Chen, model Guo Yuanyuan. Guo Yuanyuan hadn't planned on to ever bring this up. It's a wound that she didn't want to rip open. As in her words, she's made peace with it and wants nothing more to do with it. But Cen's response to Daya's allegations didn't sit too well with her. Now, unlike with Daya, where it was a one-time thing, with Guo Yuanyuan it occurred in 2 occasions. The first of which took place in his office, when he had offered to give her some clothing items so she could wear them and post pictures of them on her socials. While waiting for him to return the items, she was hugged from behind and picked up and sat down on his lap. He asked her to give her a kiss, and in her desire to leave, she did just that. The second time around, he took her to his apartment, using the same excuse as the first time. This time around, Guo Yuanyuan was a lot more careful and asked him to give her the items on a sidewalk. She thought nothing could happen as it was in public and it would be a grab-and-go situation, so it would be safe. However, to her surprise, Chen stopped his car in a busy intersection and told her to get in the car. Given the situation, there wasn't much time for her to think, hence she got tricked into his car and was driven to his apartment. He first offered her a glass of whiskey, then picked her up and took her to her bedroom and threw her on the bed. As Guo Yuanyuan struggled to get up, he mumbled, "Oh, we can't on this bed," then picked her up and took her to another bedroom. After a long 3 or so minutes of Guo Yuanyuan's brawling, scratching, pushing and shoving Chen off her, he lost interest and drove her home. At that time, Cen's wife, Fan Weiqi, was pregnant with twins. To this, Cen's reply was, "We won't be making further replies to baseless allegations." Now, on the other hand, his wife Fan Weiqi's reply was a lot longer and a lot more entertaining. She claimed that during the entirety of her pregnancy, Chen only left home 5 times. Chen doesn't drink, and there's only 1 bed in their home. However, netizens were quick to point out these comments failed to match up with what they had said in the past and their social media posts. Has she not learned from her previous experiences to be more careful of what she says and not to go about telling lies? In this day and age, everything you say and do can and will be found on the internet. Now, one thing that the 2 posts had in common was showing just how cautious and experienced Chen is in cleaning up. In after himself. In Daya's recount, the excuse that he had come up with for going to a hotel room was to borrow some makeup remover if he happens to bump into anyone. And in Guo Yuanyuan's case, when he took her to his home, he avoided taking the same elevator as her to avoid the security camera in said elevator, so there will be no evidence against him. Seeing how easily and smoothly he dealt with this situation, it can't be the first or second time of him doing this kind of thing. Now, in the wake of these allegations, both Chen and his wife Fan Weiqi found a lot of unwanted attention going their way. A lot of their past dirt was once more brought to the forefront. adding frost to their already not too pristine reputation. And a direct consequence of this will be the cancellation of Fang Wenqi's 8th of September concert. Mind you, it's a concert that she has been planning for 4 years. She probably didn't think that her showing support towards her husband could bring such strong consequences. Now maybe next time around, she'll learn to keep her mouth shut. As for Heiren, nothing really has happened to him other than the hate that's been going towards him. I mean, he wasn't all that relevant to begin with, and his reputation wasn't all that great either.